thank you, Mike, and thank you for the warm welcome. I mean, wow, this is a big room. This is a bigger room than what we had yesterday at the Capitol. So I'm grateful to be here. And Mike, you need to know, when I come to Tucson and Pima County, I like it to be in my biography that I am also a proud entrepreneurial fellow from the Eller School of Management. You know, last year Jim Click introduced me at this event and said he had high expectations. Today, Dave Crawford, who won that same award that Jim won last year, said that 2016 is going to be better than 2015. So I know where we're setting the bar, and I accept the challenge. Again, I want to say thank you and good afternoon. It's great to be in this great facility. You know, today marks 1 year since you first welcomed me to Tucson to deliver my inaugural State of the State address. On that day, our state was broke, $1 billion in the red. Old laws stood in the way of new jobs, and a lawsuit over school funding froze progress for our kids while threatening a constitutional crisis. What a difference a year makes. Since then, I've had the pleasure of visiting Southern Arizona more than a dozen times. I have racked up a huge number of punches on my EG's card. And I've enjoyed working with all of you, so many friends and supporters in this room, in the business community, the education champions, and the legislators that are here today, to begin to turn our state around. Today, because of our decisions, there's money in the bank. We can pay our bills, and our credit rating upgrades will save taxpayers millions in this coming year. We've added more than 56,000 new jobs, 100,000 new citizens, and Forbes says Arizona is the best state in the nation for future job growth. We've unleashed innovation, and our free enterprise system is flowing, along with the beer at so many of our nationally renowned microbreweries. So as we enter 2016, we are united in an effort to deliver our students and teachers billions in new dollars. I'm proud to stand here today and say the state of our state isn't just strong, it is on the rise. Opportunity for all. I'm convinced our accomplishments in this past year came from a commitment to that vision and the ability to work together to solve problems long postponed. Lawmakers in our capital stepped up and really delivered on the promise of legislative leadership. When it came to balancing our budget, we were told it just couldn't be done, not without raising taxes. But we weren't going to make the people of Arizona pay for the failings of politicians. So we got the job done, and instead of raising taxes, we lowered them. A year later, the same big spenders who told us we couldn't balance the budget are beating the drum, celebrating our hard work with plans to spend and party like it's 1999. Some people never learn, no matter how much their head hurts in the morning. But someone needs to be the voice of reason and sobriety. So when they bring out the punch bowl, I will be here to say, once again, not on our watch. On Friday, I will release my budget, and the big spenders and special interests aren't going to like it. It prioritizes our vital commitments, like education, public safety, and child safety. It eliminates waste it's balanced, and most importantly, it does not raise taxes. Now, I understand it's unusual for elected leaders to keep their promises, but let me assure you, I intend to keep mine. Together, we will lower taxes this year, next year, and the year after. And at the same time, we will invest in education this year, next year, and the year after. It doesn't have to be an either or. We can be responsible with our budget, invest in the future, and allow the people to keep more of the dollars they earn. After all, it's the people's money, not the government's. Those same taxpayers expect results from us at the Capitol. But all too often, success in government is measured by how many bills we pass and how many new laws we add to the books. The result is more than 10,000 pages of statutes containing some 20,000 laws. We all have priorities this year, but as legislators debate new laws, I encourage them to ask themselves, is this the proper role of government? Are we expanding freedom or limiting it? Last year, 1,163 bills were introduced. 344 crossed my desk. 324 became law. I enjoyed reviewing all of them. Yes, even the ones I didn't sign. But sometimes, as the saying goes, if you want to learn something new, you need to read something old. As Barry Goldwater wrote in Conscience of a Conservative, my aim is not to pass laws, it's to repeal them. So in that spirit, in the governor's office, we've identified hundreds of buried regulations that state agencies have imposed on Arizonans through the back door, hurting businesses large and small, stifling job creation and progress. Unfortunately, the process to get rid of these unnecessary regulations isn't nearly as easy as the process to create them. I've called upon the legislature to allow agencies to wipe them out easier and faster. Send me legislation and I'll sign it. And we shouldn't stop there. Arizona requires licenses for too many jobs. This results in a maze of bureaucracy for small business people looking to earn an honest living. Believe it or not, the state of Arizona actually licenses talent agents. I say, let's leave the job of finding new talent to Adam Levine and Gwen Stefani, not state government. The elites and special interests will tell you these licenses are necessary, but often they've been designed to kill competition or keep out the little guy. So let's eliminate them. Where we must have government, let's make it work. We are transforming how we operate. In a pilot project across 23 state agencies, Arizona was able to deliver services to our citizens 65% faster on average without sacrificing quality. Before we started, things were moving slowly. Government was sitting on applications. In the case of licensing qualified bus drivers, 4 days of work was taking 46 days. So now, 4 days of work takes 4 days. Expect more of these improvements as we create a results-driven government that works at the speed of business. Last year, state government finally entered the 21st century, just 15 years late. Whether it was allowing inventors greater freedom to crowdfund or ending sting operations against ride-sharing by overzealous state regulators, we've embraced innovation, and we're not done yet. You know, more than 40 million passengers enter our state through Sky Harbor International Airport every year. But you can't order an Uber or Lyft there because unelected bureaucrats at City Hall are protecting special interests. Sky Harbor may be a city airport, but it's an Arizona vital resource used by citizens all over our state, including right here in southern Arizona. And our economy is dependent on its success. On Monday, I called upon Phoenix City government to lift these unnecessary regulations immediately. I'm also encouraging all our cities and towns to put the brakes on ill-advised plans to create a patchwork of different wage and employment laws. If these political subdivisions don't stop, they'll drive our economy off a cliff. 91 cities and towns with 91 different employment laws isn't local control. It's California-style chaos. These efforts are based on the trendy, feel-good policies that are stifling opportunity across our nation, failing everywhere they've been tried. So why would we try them here? Let me be more specific. I will use every constitutional power of the executive branch and leverage every legislative relationship to protect small businesses and the working men and women they employ, up to and including changing the distribution of state shared revenue. We will ensure Arizona continues to grow jobs, not destroy them. And as our economy advances, our government and our laws need to modernize too. Arizona should be to the sharing economy what Texas is to oil and what Silicon Valley used to be to the tech industry. Yesterday I signed an executive order creating the Governor's Council on the Sharing Economy. Its mission, stop shackling innovation and instead put the cuffs on out-of-touch regulators. I want startups in the sharing economy to know California may not want you, but Arizona does. And I'd be remiss if I didn't stop to thank my partner in growing Arizona's economy, California Governor Jerry Brown. It's often misreported that there's a Western water crisis, but the facts show we'd be more accurate to call it a California water crisis. We've planned ahead. If there's one thing Arizona is best in the nation at, it's water. Thanks to the revolutionary planning efforts like our 1980 Groundwater Management Act and leaders from Carl Hayden to Mo Udall to John Kyle, Arizona has grown and thrived. We're building on that, and we have a plan in motion right now. A team of our top water experts, users, and providers are charting the path forward. I've directed them to investigate new long-term sources for water in our state, explore additional conservation opportunities, and identify future infrastructure needs so we don't end up like sorry California. I've also given the green light to the Arizona Department of Water Resources to use existing dollars to hire new staff that the water community has been requesting for years. Experts who can take these plans and make them work on behalf of the citizens of Arizona. When it comes to our economic future, we're planning for tomorrow and we're innovating, starting with the Arizona Commerce Authority. We know what businesses look for when deciding where to locate: quality of life, low taxes, light regulation, good financing, and qualified workers. It's time for ACA 2.0 with a renewed focus on marketing and promotion. We have a great state with amazing assets. We know life's better here. Now let's do a better job at getting the word out. Governors compete. States compete. People and businesses decide. So our goal is simple: to grow our economy, to take full advantage of our geography to better address the needs of businesses fleeing California and other states on the decline, and to ensure job creators who are already here stay and thrive. In June, I led a delegation of Arizona business and public policy leaders to Mexico City, the first gubernatorial trade mission to the country's capital in nearly a decade. Last year, I made it clear that I'm serious about our relationship with our largest trading partner, and I look forward to working with my counterpart and colleague in Sonora, Governor Claudia Pavlovich, to make sure our shared region is the most competitive in the world. And a great economy requires great public schools. It's important to note that we are already doing a lot of things well. 3 of the top 10 public high schools in the country. Hardworking, dedicated, and nationally renowned teachers and principals. And while scores on the nation's report card dropped across the country, Arizona students continue to improve. Together, we've made substantial progress towards giving our educators the resources they've been asking for. Last year, faced with one of the most contentious legal issues in Arizona history, leaders in education and the legislature stepped up. The result? A monumental, bipartisan, $3.5 billion solution that will go to the voters in 126 days. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to change the trend line on education funding in Arizona. The stakes are high. For the cynics out there looking to stop this plan or rooting for its defeat, if you're hoping this lawsuit will be resolved any other way, it won't. Even if you voted against sending it to the ballot, now it's on the ballot. You can't sit on the sidelines. Please put politics and partisanship aside and put our kids and teachers first. I promise to put all my energy into ensuring its passage. So let me just say, I'm voting yes on Prop 123. If you're with me, raise your hand. Yeah. Thank you. May 17th. In the past year, I've visited schools all over the state, meeting teachers, principals, and parents. They looked me in the eye, and I've listened. To those parents and educators, I want you to know, I've heard you, and this plan delivers. In the years ahead, Arizona will be among the states investing the most new dollars in public education, all without raising taxes. This is a first step, a big first step, but not our only step to improve public education in Arizona. We know spending is not the measure of success, and it shouldn't just be about the billions of dollars we are putting into public education. It must be about what our kids are getting out of their public education. Until the thousands of kids on public school wait lists have access to our finest teachers and principals, our job isn't done. So here's the plan. We are going to make it easier and more affordable for our best public schools to expand. For months, my office has worked with the top credit rating agencies in the country to develop a structure that lets our excellent public schools finance their expansion at lower cost. This means they can spend more dollars in the classroom and less paying interest to a bank on Wall Street. By utilizing dollars legislators allocated last year for the creation of the Arizona Public School Achievement District, combined with additional dollars that won't impact the general fund, we can and will make this happen. We also need to provide resources for aging schools to repair and rebuild their facilities for future students. Next, we need to reward schools that are helping kids reach their full potential. All of us should be alarmed to hear that more than half of our high school graduates can't get into our own state universities. So under our plan, schools that produce students who successfully complete AP-level college prep courses will be rewarded with more dollars. Schools in low-income areas where educators and students face added challenges will receive an even greater boost for helping kids beat the odds. And I know not every child plans to go to college. Their K-12 experience also needs to prepare them for life and career, which is why I'm targeting high-need employment sectors with a new focus on career and technical education. I've heard there's bipartisan support for this, so I've challenged the legislature to get it done. And we know the state isn't the only player in public education. Every day, philanthropic foundations in Arizona are investing in our schools. They are developing new school leaders, expanding educational opportunities for low-income children, and funding the arts and sciences. I intend to partner with the heads of these foundations to provide an even greater opportunity and impact in our schools. And when we get our kids prepared, there are great universities right here in Arizona ready to educate them at the highest level. Wherever your loyalties may lie, you have to admit our universities are literally out of this world. A U of A grad recently discovered water on Mars. Arizona State University was just named the most innovative university in the country. And NAU is now a magnet for students ditching California in search of a high-quality, affordable, higher education alternative. Our universities and community colleges have been on the cutting edge when it comes to research, innovation, and problem solving. Just look a few miles down the road at the University of Arizona. In August, I was proud to join President Ann Weaver Hart at the U of A campus to celebrate a first-of-its-kind economic development partnership with Uber. This partnership will grow a stellar company's footprint in southern Arizona and beyond, and pave the way for research and development of a new state-of-the-art technology right here at Arizona's first university. I want all our university presidents to know we value your work, and I intend to be a partner in strengthening Arizona's higher education. As a parent and as governor, there's one number that keeps me up at night. 18,927. That's how many Arizona children, through no fault of their own, have found themselves in the foster care system. We have to stand up for these kids. And that means making sure that no matter the failings of their parents, they and their caregivers have the resources they need. And grandmas, grandpas, aunts and uncles shouldn't face roadblocks to care for children in their own extended families. But under current policy, they do. In many cases, a grandmother actually receives fewer dollars to raise her own grandchild than a stranger would. That's wrong. This session, let's end the grandmother penalty and keep more kids and families together. And as we continue to ease the burden, the fact remains, we ask a lot of foster parents. And we know there are thousands of families currently trying to get into our best public schools, where the lines are long. I say, if we want to see more foster and adoptive families, let's give them an incentive, a fast pass to the front of the line of our best public schools. This will ensure vulnerable children an opportunity and a great education, and bring more people to take on the noble cause of fostering a child. For fathers out there who aren't meeting their obligations, we also have a plan. I'm talking to deadbeat dads. For too long, you've been able to remain anonymous, able to skirt your financial and legal responsibilities with no shame. Not anymore. Some people have referred to me as the hashtag governor. Well, here's a new one for all the deadbeat dads out there. Effective immediately, the state is going to begin posting the photos, names, and money owed by these losers to social media with the hashtag deadbeat. Homelessness, crime, child neglect, or the prison population. All of these issues trace back to a common theme: drug abuse and addiction. In September, we created the Border Strike Force Bureau, a partnership between local, state, and federal law enforcement that's providing a force multiplier in the fight against drug cartels and border crime. Already, with a minimal investment, the strike force has made over 300 arrests, taken down 14 cartel members, and seized 4,400 pounds of marijuana, 194 pounds of meth, and 21 pounds of heroin. 21 pounds of heroin in 4 months. That's nearly 1 million individual hits, and more than DPS seized in all of 2014. Think about this. That same year, 1,248 Arizona newborns came into this world already addicted to drugs. We cannot wait to act. Let's stand together this session and provide law enforcement, especially our border county sheriffs, the resources they need to ramp up the fight against the bad guys and end this scourge on our state. For those suffering from addiction, it's a different story. And law enforcement can only go so far. 75% of heroin addicts started out using prescription drugs. We found that in a single month, through a voluntary online database, that hundreds of Arizonans were doctor shopping and receiving highly addictive and dangerous drugs from multiple physicians at the same time. Imagine how many more people we could help with the requirement that doctors use that database. It's time for us to make that happen. Next, we must find help for those who want it. So I'm bringing together a team of leading substance abuse experts, recovering addicts, and providers to find the best treatments and reduce barriers to care. And if we're serious about reducing recidivism and reversing the growth of our prison population, let's begin by building on the model already working right here in Pima County. A community correction center providing tough love and on-site drug treatment and counseling. It's time we bring this to the state's largest county, where the most people are transitioning back to life in our community. Let's give them a second chance so they stay clean and never end up back in prison. Despite all these challenges, Arizona has a lot to be proud of. Last night, 1 year after hosting the most watched and most successful Super Bowl in history, the College Football Playoff National Championship took place right in our state. And once again, it was another night for the record books. No matter who you were rooting for, Arizona won. But while the game may be over, and many of the fans have gone back home, our greatest assets will remain our people. The 7,772 men serving in the Arizona National Guard and all those serving here and abroad in our military. Our cops, our firefighters, our first responders who keep us safe in these uncertain times. Gabby Giffords, who completed El Tour de Tucson and continues to inspire. Jen Welter and the Arizona Cardinals, who together shattered the glass ceiling in the NFL. And the next generation of Arizonans, like 10-year-old Nia Thomas of right here in Tucson, who made a winning dish, oodles of zoodles, that was served in the White House for the President of the United States. My fellow Arizonans, our state is on the rise, and it's because of our people. They are giving their all to make this place the best in America, and they expect us to do the same. I'm honored to continue working with you toward that goal. We've demonstrated government can work. Positive things can happen in our state capitol and throughout our state. We can think big and aim high. So why stop now? Thank you and God bless.